Welcome, it's Skyra from Sovereign Vision Temple. Today I'm going to talk about what we focus on and what we bring into reality in the collective because of what we focus on. I might not have said that right, but I'm not going to go back and record this at this moment. What I'm trying to say is that what we bring into the collective, because we have a collective mind, we are all one. Our mind is all connected. Everything is connected. If you've ever done a plant medicine journey or ayahuasca journey, you will definitely understand that, what that means. If you spent time in nature and you've watched a tree and you felt connected to that tree, or you felt connected to earth, you may understand that. That's what requires for us to understand that dynamic, because most of society believes that we're all separate, we're all individual, we're all disconnected. And actually our energetic fields, we're all connected. So that means we have a collective mind. And the other aspect is that the higher the frequency, so there's lower frequencies, which is living in fear, and there's a higher frequency which lives in closer to the state of love. When we are living in a state of fear, we're in a lower frequency. We are living in shame and guilt. Anger is not, people say anger, but anger is actually a midline. Anger can be perfect. Anger can project us into a higher, give us the fuel to move us into a higher energetic field, into a higher frequency, because we're sick of living in the lower frequencies, right? And sometimes, and that's what I've been through many times, is experiencing a lot of anger and rage. And I just came out of one of those cycles. So first, it was obviously when you experience an awakening, there's something you see, you want to heal something in yourself, or you might start seeing that there is discrepancies in what we're told to believe and think, and see that there's discrepancies in the government and religious systems, or whatever it is that we see in the court system, and whatever we're seeing, the food system, that's a big one, the pharmaceutical industry. So we're seeing all these discrepancies, and immediately we get angry and we get rageful, and we start projecting, that it's their fault, and it keeps us in, and this is usually this happens in, there's the third dimension, which is we're just living in the total physical. We don't realize that there's anything outside of our physical reality. We're just completely oblivious that there is other things happening energetically. The fourth is when we start breaking through the veil of illusion, and we start seeing that there is more to the reality. And this is often when what I just spoke about, that we start seeing through these discrepancies, and then we start getting into a place of survival or more fear, because it creates more fear and dysregulation in our nervous system. We move into a fight or flight, or we stay in a state of anger and projection and rage, because it's their fault. It's their fault. When we move into a higher frequency of starting to see how we might be creating our reality just outside of our own personal life, that's when we move into a higher frequency of self-responsibility. That's closer to the fifth dimension, where we realize that we're all one, and there's union between the outer world and the inner world. And in that space, we can realize that as within, so without. So if we're all, when you start feeling and understanding the connection between the cycles of the moon and the energy fields or whatever's happening out there that we need to learn to navigate so that we're not constantly being thrown around in different energy fields, because that's part of the healing process is, when we're in the awakening ascension process, is to get fully grounded, within our body. And to live in our integrity, to be who we are, and also know that we have sovereign authority to create our own reality and not allow these things to affect us the way it does. And I want to speak, the reason I'm speaking about this is because it was really bad for me. I had a really hard time, and I'm still not over it, as far as to the level that I feel. Some of us are very sensitive, and I didn't even know I was sensitive until my awakening, until I started going through the detox process. I was detoxing my body. I'm not talking like drugs. I was talking about like pharmaceuticals that I had been on for 15 years of my life. And and then my decalcifying my pineal gland. That was because our pineal gland is our connection to source and energy. And when that's why they're putting chemicals in our water, specifically chlorine and oh my goodness, I just forgot the name of it. Fluoride, that's it. Fluoride just connects. I can go off on these different avenues, so I'm gonna try to bring it back. So when we go through a cleansing or detox process, our intuition and our feeling and our embodiment really comes on board. It really, the sensitivity, because we're getting the toxins out, we're clearing the energy centers out of our body. And we began really feeling things. I don't know, for some of you, like I can feel when I'm holding my phone without protection on it, I can actually feel the Wi-Fi in my hands and in my arms. And, if I need to turn on the Wi-Fi off at night because I can feel it. I put where, there's protection that we can have around on ourselves. We can create an energetic shield around our body that protects us. And a lot of it is our emotional and mental, our mind, where are we projecting this? Can we shift what we're experiencing in reality by just shifting the way we think about it? Yes, absolutely. Is it easy? No, not at all. Especially when you're a sensitive person and you can feel it all. I'm going to talk about the things that they're spraying in the skies and, what I just went through. And I moved to Hawaii because apparently they weren't really doing that here for a while. And now it seems that that's not true any longer. And it was really, really intense the last couple of days. And I started getting like these burn. You can still see the redness under my skin. I've right here especially. And it was like this fake wind, this fake wind. It's like this breeze, and you can tell. And the clouds are very different. And so, not to go into that, I just want to say that there is a way to shift, and the more we focus on it, first I used to get angry and mad, and so what I decided to do is to create solutions, because that is what we have to move into. We have to move into out of the space of blame and shame, and they're doing this to us because actually our collective mind created this. And I know that might blow some people's minds, or might say, how could you say that? I didn't cause this, but it's the collective mind. It's a collective mind. So when our consciousness continues to shift and raise and our frequency gets higher, the more people living in closer to love and I'm not talking about bypassing. We're very aware of what's happening, but we aren't choosing to focus on it. Because when we focus on it, we're bringing more of that into the reality. So what do? We create solutions, and we really learn to navigate without focusing on it. Was it easy for me the last couple of weeks? Absolutely not. I was really feeling almost in a state of hopelessness this past week. I literally went to that space because I didn't ever think that would really happen in this beautiful land, but it is. And it's one of the reasons I moved to Hawaii, because I loved nature and I loved living in nature and the air. And it's still present, it's still here, but because I went into a state of focusing on it, allowed myself to get to that point, everything I saw became that. And we literally can create that psychosomatic symptoms in our body. Now, am I saying that we should just ignore it and pretend anything that's toxic in our life to just ignore it and pretend it's not happening? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that things that are not in our control, except to create solutions and to focus on the awakening process, focusing on, because what we become, our consciousness becomes part of the consciousness of the mind, of the collective mind. So in that way, we can kind of overturn that old 3D mentality where they're not looking at consequences. You know, it's just all about immediate gratification and not looking at long-term effects of things. And there's probably some other aspects of that, which is not just the collective. There's other, I would say, non-benevolent forces helping to create this. And we have help. We have help there. It's here, it's present, but they need us to wake up. They need us to become empowered. They need us to become sovereign, so that this we'll put an end to it. It won't continue to happen. We really are at a point of either destruction or recreating a new earth. We lead by example. We lead others by example. And again, I'm still struggling. And then there's other aspects of it, because sometimes, like in an environment that I had another video about this, was called entrainment, which because of our beliefs about ourselves or how we feel about ourselves, we put ourselves into situations that don't feel good or around people that don't feel good, and we feel we're stuck in some way or we can't get out. And so part of this is about empowerment and to know your worth and to move yourself out of any energy that doesn't feel right for you. It's not about just accepting it. It's not about pretending it's not there. And it's not about running. It's about being centered, which I used to do. I'll tell you that. I used to run. If something didn't feel good, I'm out, you know, because I couldn't deal with it, you know. And as you spiritually mature, you learn to navigate and not place too much judgments on others, except to look at yourself about where or how that was possibly created by yourself, and take the actions to remove yourself. And sometimes it's unknown, because when we are in an awakening and we're in the process of our frequency and our vibration and our consciousness moving closer to love, we are going to be tested. We are going to experience spiritual warfare. That's what I call it, spiritual warfare. So we have to become resilient and learn to navigate, have a daily practice, and choose what we focus on. Choose what we focus on. And so I hope that helps in understanding what that means when, you know, a lot of people, I really had a hard time saying, how can I not focus on that? I mean, come on, it's like, you know, how look at the sky. And, you know, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in everything. And yeah, it's not an easy process. It's not easy. I will say that. And, you know, but we're moving into the ability to transmute it. And in the meantime, I have a product that I wanted to tell you about. It's called Detox Me. And it is the solution for heavy metals, parasites, bacteria, mold. What else? All those things that are in our body, especially the heavy metals, that it binds them and pulls it out of the body. Now, it's not a cure-all, but it is a protection against gypsophilia. I'm sorry, glyphosate, not gypsophilia. Glyphosate is what we're getting sprayed on our food and creating havoc in our immune system, in our stomachs, and creating gluten sensitivities. So if you're interested in that product, I'm going to put a link in the description for that so that you can access it. I'll put the details are in the description about what it is and how you can get it. Highly recommend it. It's my best-selling product that I have, and most of my clients take it. It's a solution. It's a solution as a protection. And there's many, many ways that we can protect ourselves. So that's one thing. And then I'm going to be offering a series of webinars that are going to go into how to raise the life force energy, how to heal our body naturally, as far as like, and health is simple. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated the way they make it. And I want to explain why. And it's not necessarily simple to get through the process, but it's simple to understand. And we don't have to make it complicated. You know, if we can just return back to the natural health, we'll understand that at least the whole holistic way to bring about healing, and we can start moving in that direction. That's what we're here to do, move into the direction of healing. And it's a physical, emotional, mental, spiritual level. And the more that we're projecting out radiant health, life force energy, the more that the collective is healing. So thanks for listening today. I invite you to like or subscribe to the channel if you resonate, and be sure to check out the links in the description. Have a beautiful day. Aloha.